Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and this video is designed for everybody who decided to pre-order BFA and you got your 110 boost for a character. In a way, this video can also double up as a video what to do and how to gear once you get to the max level, but this is mostly for people that are coming back. So hi, you're probably checking out your new allied race, chances are you boosted one of the new classes and you're trying to play one of the better classes. Where do you go once you start the game? Well, the first thing I think you want to do is go to your capital city, Stormwind or Armory, pick up a quest line and breadcrumbs in order to get to Argus. It should be really straightforward, should be kind of all up in your face. You follow to a boat takes you to Exeter takes you to Vindicar takes you to Argus. Have fun on a new planet. Well, your first character, you want to first figure out, okay, which spec are you playing? And hopefully you picked a DPS spec, because if you picked a healer or even a tank, your experience when it comes to questing is going to be a little bit slower. The first thing you feel like you should do is get through the story of Argus. The story of Argus is gonna probably make zero sense if you have not been playing Legion at all or haven't been keeping up with it. Short synopsis is there's demons, we go into the homeworld, we're trying to end the demon homeworld and end the demon invasion, and that's kind of the end of Legion. The story quests are pretty well optimized, so you shouldn't have any issues losing them as long as you follow breadcrumb quests. I'm going to say the word breadcrumb here one more time, mainly because it's a quest line that leaves crumbs for you to follow. So it's a quest line that leads into the next quest line that leads into the next quest line, and on and on and on. And as long as you complete every single quest on Argus for your story, then you should be good and set. The reason you want to complete the story quest line on Argus is because Argus is a great place to farm gear, Argus is a great place to start your world quest, it is also a great place to start getting some of the rep from different factions, as well as it's a place just to rain gear on top of you. The first thing you'll want to do when you get into World of Warcraft, to get into dungeons, to get into raids, you will need gear. And it's a simple currency. As you will get through the quest line, you unlock all the different world quests there. It'll give you Veiled Argonite, which you trade in for 9-10 itemable pieces of gear. You literally can stay here and farm if you want and be as efficient, or you can go out and smell the roses, exploring the rest of what Legion has to offer. Although the gear on Argus that you get is probably the fastest method. After you've completed the whole of the story, now you have world quests that are open for your character. You can do these world quests to get artifact power, which you'll use for your weapon, gear that you'll use for your character, relics that you'll use to buff up your weapon even further, as well as other resources. There will be Veiled Argonite for 9-10 pieces of gear, there will be Order Hall resources when you get around to Order Hall stuff, as well as other resources that you'll be collecting from Argus. Overall, just resources to get your character geared up and ready to go. When you finish up the story of Argus, you'll be able to have, by the end of the story main quest line, enough Veiled Argonite for one piece of gear. And these pieces of gear have a chance to drop a legendary, these pieces of gear have a chance to drop trinkets from previous raids that might Titan Forge. I feel that the first thing that I always get for every one of my character is a trinket, because trinkets don't really come by all that often, at least for me. Usually chest pieces, gloves, pants, anything like that. Relics and trinkets, I don't see them nearly as often, so that's the first thing I pick up on any new character. On Argus, you'll also be able to experience the invasions. You get 3 different invasions, one for every zone, and these invasions do have a weekly quest that you get back at the, I guess, the command post. The command post that's basically following around every single zone, the ship called Vindicar. From the command post, you'll have 2 different NPCs. One is Illidan, the other is Turelian. That'll give you different quests that you do once a week in order to get more Veiled Argonite, which means more gear. These invasions also have a chance to drop you gear, and they have a chance to drop your legendaries as well as artifact power, everything to fuel your character. The Greater Invasion is basically a world boss. You kill him once, he has a chance to drop you gear, and he will always drop you a ton of AP, so be sure to kill that guy once a week. So Argus sounds like a wonderland, full of gear, full of all these resources you need to better your character, but Argus is more of a challenging zone. If you're somebody who wants to play some challenging content, really truly learn your class, see how you square up against all these world bosses, then I think Argus will be a better option, because you can spend an hour there and get a lot out of it, but the mobs are challenging. So if you're not that great at your class, or maybe you're more of a casual player and Argus is not really up to your speed, then you might want to try out the older zones, because they're a little bit slower, they're a little more casual, they're a little more relaxed, and they take a little bit longer in order to farm up all the gear and all the resources, but they're just as good if you're somebody who has a lot of time but you're not that great at your class or just learning. So it has everything for everyone's speed. Eventually, after you get through the story of Argus and maybe you farmed up a little bit of artifact power for your weapon, you might figure out that, hey, there's other specializations that I can play as my class. As a Windwalker monk, I also have a specialization for a tank, which is Brewmaster, and healer as a Mistweaver. But the first thing you will figure out is you don't have the artifact weapons for those specs. When you boost a character to 110, Blizzard will usually suggest for you to play as a DPS, so you have enough damage to get through the content, you're not too tanky and low damage like a tank, or too healy low damage like a healer. When you go to your order hall, you will be able to pick up quest lines for your other spec weapons, as the artifact weapon does not bleed over to the other specs. If I'm a DPS Windwalker monk, I can only use DPS weapon only for Windwalker. If I'm a tank, I can only use that weapon for tank, and healer, same, only for a healer. So what you will want to do before you start the quest lines to pick up your other weapons, in case a tank or a healer or any other spec is more of your calling, you'll want to visit a quartermaster in your order hall. They'll be located in different areas, so you'll want to look carefully for an NPC that sells you gear. From the quartermaster, you'll want to pick up the weapons for those specializations you're trying to get. As a Mistweaver, I use an intellect staff, so I'll be sure to pick that up, and as a tank monk, I use an agility staff, so make sure to figure out which weapons each spec uses, or if you're not sure, just buy one of each or two of each in case it's a one-hander, and it'll be kind of awkward to be a rogue with just one dagger. You'll kind of want a second one at your side. Once you completed the quest lines for those other artifact weapons for those other specializations, now you can go back to doing your regular farming on Argus or in Legion zones, farming artifact power, collecting gear, and once you feel you're confident enough to start healing and tanking and doing DPS, then you can start jumping into your LFG, into your Mythic Pluses, maybe into dungeons, anything up to your speed. There's a lot of content in Legion, and a lot of it has different variations of difficulty. Some content is less difficult for a beginner spec or beginner class. Some is more difficult, and if difficulty is your thing, there's always plenty of it in Legion. From there, you have your basic guide on how to get your class up and running. Because Blizzard does give you a class with at least decent gear, you won't be at the very bottom of the barrel, and utilizing Argus and everything that it has, all the world quests, and then all the other Legion zones and all the world quests that it has, as well as doing whatever missions in your order hall on your own time, you'll be able to discover a lot about the game. You should be utilizing these things. First of all, order hall, utilize it as much as possible. Netherlight Crucible, if you get different relics for your weapons, you'll want to utilize that as well, as that directly affects your weapon. Artifact power, you'll want to be farming a lot of it up until to a certain point where you feel comfortable. You should also look up some guides online whenever you get a chance in order to how to play a class, but for the most part I feel like Legion standardized a lot of the classes, so it shouldn't be too hard for a new player to come in and start at least doing some damage. But once you figure out a class you like and you want to improve, definitely look up some guides, whether online reading guides or video guides on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful, at least to some extent. And if you're somebody who is a level 110, hopefully this video is at least a decent beginner's guide for a lot of you guys that are first trying out World of Warcraft or first boosting a character to 110. Enjoy Legion as much as you can up until BFA, but Legion has been a great expansion with a lot of content, and there's definitely a lot to do. So enjoy it up until the pre-patch, and as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Likes allows my videos to reach a wider audience and allow my channel to grow. If you guys enjoy the content, these kind of updates, if you want to see more updates to future patches, BFA, 5.5.1 duels, go ahead and hit subscribe to the channel. And if you want to catch the live streams, which today we'll be having a 5.5 1v1 EU Duels Alliance. So if you guys want to join for that, be sure to hit the notification bell down in the description below next to the subscribe button. Thank you all guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next video.